Go.
Hey guys, Rican Ranger here, Rise of the Ninjetti, all the way from Tales from a Consumer. I got Drew Danger with me, our great friend Lady Laura. We are Knights of the Dragon, also, and we just want to came here. We came here today to basically talk with you guys about various topics and segue into some things. And I give you guys Drew Danger.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Drew Danger here. You know what time it is. It's the Danger time. And today is not about me. It's not about Regan. It's not about Angel. But today is about Lady Laura.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a story that I have not heard. But she says it's out of this world. And if she tells me it's out of this world, then I will believe her. So we're going to let Lady Laura tell her story, tell her tale about what she wants to share with all of us today. Laura,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and share with us if you're ready.
Okay. Um. Hi. Um. So. I don't know how to segue into this, but this story um is about how everything we go through has a purpose. I believe that. Um. And I learned that last night. Um. I kind of knew it before, but I learned it last night. So I'll set it up here. So in 2021, I had a friend named Y. I had a friend for about 10 years named Carlette. Her name was Carlette. She had two children. She was a single mother, and she was a very, very good mother. She made her life around her children. So the oldest one's name is Josh, and the youngest one's name is Michaela. Michaela is my goddaughter. Um, and Carlette in 2021, she died. She died of a heart attack
Oh, man.
very suddenly in April of 2021. Um, and Josh called me after. Um, and long story short, I was part of the decision that, um, part of the reason the decision he made to take her off life support because she was no longer with us. And so he's become like a surrogate child, if you will. He's 23,
Okay.
I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a rough go of it after she died. He was the sole carer for Michaela, who was 12 at the time. Um, and so he became her legal guardian. And he really struggled doing that, and I tried hell as much as I could, but we both decided that it was too much for us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she got put into DCFS custody, and she's doing quite well right now. She's in a foster home that she really likes, and that is really good to her and good for her. Um, and so she's doing really well. Um, So that's one part of it. And then the other part is, in November of 2022, that we lost Jason.
Right.
Um,
2 years already. Crazy.
yeah. In suicide. He committed suicide. Um,
Self delusion.
and so Josh has been struggling for a while
Mm-hmm.
um, with ideas of potentially doing that. Because of everything that he's been going through, and it's been really bad in the last month or whatever. So, um, I was watching Power Rangers yesterday. I was watching what was I watching, Drew? The White Light Part 2.
You were watching White Light Part
Love
2.
that. Love that part.
And so and I it just it hit me about Jason, and I just really felt a lot of grief in that moment. And I mean, it was just overwhelming, and I called Drew. And I was telling him how it was so hard, and how I I don't understand why it's so hard. Why can't I not cry? Why can't I, and I wrote something, a little blurb, because I was encouraged to write it right. So this is what, and it all relates back to Josh. I'm getting there. I wrote, grief sucks. When will I not cry over you? When will the weight be removed from me? When will losing you not hurt? Why is this so hard? So I wrote that. Um,
You know, he was a poet too. He used to
mhm,
write like that. You see on Henry's all the time. So that's good.
mhm,
Maybe that's a way you can connect with him,
yeah.
writing like that.
And so um, I got talking to Drew, and we talked it out and talked about feelings and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I was in a good place, and I felt better. You know, about 2 hours after I talked to Drew, this is the
Mhm.
story. This is where I was going. 2 hours after I got a call, I talked to Drew. I got a call from Josh.
Mm.
He was on the bus getting ready to go to bridge to jump off.
What?
Hmm.
This was yesterday, recently.
Last night, he
Mm.
was. At first, he didn't want to tell me where he was going.
Mhm.
He said, "I don't want to. I don't want to disclose that." I said, "Josh, where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to an overpass." And I said, "Josh, get off the bus." He said, "Now?" I'm like, "Yes, get off the bus." And so he got off the bus, and I was able to talk him down from what he was getting ready to do.
Mhm.
I was able to talk about that grief because he's still grieving his mother.
Mhm.
And so, what I wrote here about Jason is what I read to Josh. And I said, Josh, I understand that grief. I know that grief sucks. I know it hurts. But I
Mhm.
also know that you don't need to do this. That you can get through this emotion. You can get through this. What you feel now will not be what you feel forever,
Mhm.
you know. And so I was able to get him off that bus. I talked him into getting on the next bus that will take him home. And we talked through the whole time. And I got him home, and I told him, you need to eat, watch what you need to watch on YouTube, and go to bed and forget this. Forget this. You know, this day doesn't have to be the next day, you
Mhm.
know. And I just remembered what I would have said to Jason, and these are the things that I told Josh. And at the end of it, he felt so much better. And I was able to talk him off the ledge.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I would have been in that place before watching the White Light Part 2 and talking to Drew and, understanding. So that's what I'm saying. That grief that I was feeling,
Mhm.
I had to feel that so that I can identify with Josh about the way he was feeling about his mom,
Mhm.
And so that's what I meant by we go through things maybe to help the next person,
Yeah.
So for some reason, I was watching the White Light Part 2 yesterday, and I felt that grief. because Josh was going to feel that grief too. And I needed to help him through that, through what he was getting ready to do. So that's why I said everything comes full circle. And I just felt such a relief, and I was so proud of him because at the end of it, I had him laughing, like he laughed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just so proud of him. And I told him that, and he made it home, and he's safe, and he no longer wanted to jump off that bridge.
Well, can I just add to that real quick, Laura? I want to pause you because it's important to make a point. When you have a personality like yours and a heart like yours, you're kind of a can opener for other people. You can kind of bust open their soul and get through and maybe spark that conversation or that word or that emotion or that feeling to get them off of that ledge. That's a power. You know what I'm saying? That's strength. And I think JDF's spirit, which is what connects all of us, Knights of the Dragon, you know what I mean? Like that's what we stand for. That's what we're trying to do. So we jumped right into it to kind of show y'all, like, you know, Laura's here and people are here coming together because self-deletion and feeling that way is the real pandemic. It's the real issue. Not Green Rangering yourself is the real issue. You know, so I want you to continue, Laura, but I just wanted to highlight that I've been told, don't Green Ranger yourself, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's become a thing. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to take Jason's power from who he was because of what he did. I just wanted to highlight that and be like, you can't steal that man's legacy because he swam out too far, or you know, his cry for help. He can't be defined by that. It's just, you know, and then when you're gone, that's when the pain really starts. So you're not really, you know, there's that stance and there's the other stance. It's like his strengths can't be denied. So this could be our purpose. But continue. I think that's important. Mental health, self-deletion, all of that. That's where the spirit connects. So go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I got the text from him saying
So
that
you saved that man's life, basically, you know.
maybe.
You tapped in, you know, you were the can opener. You were the one that right time, you know. That's purpose. And if you didn't go through what you needed to go through as a person, you wouldn't know how to have that conversation to be able to throw someone the rope. You know, it's almost a respect thing too. People respect how you deliver that message because the gift is mixing it with the food, you know. So mix the medicine with the food, and I think you did that. So you should be proud, and I think you should keep owning those skills, and that's why we love having you. And you're going to be a staple on the show for people. If maybe you can put up an email, I've been doing that on my shows, or a way for people to contact you. If you guys want to come on Heartstrings with Lady Laura and talk about these deep kind of connective issues with your souls, your mind, you know what I'm saying? She's that type of person. She's our gypsy. She's our, you know, she's our hippie soul here. You know, she's always worried about how y'all doing. So don't be scared to contact any one of us for that matter, but Laura especially, she lives for that stuff. So we want to thank you and establish that on KOD episode 3 that Laura is the first lady now. So you guys feel free to get with her on Facebook, Instagram, whatever she's doing. She's in the Discord with us. So she's our first dragoness, you know? So, you know, you guys got the floor. That's all I wanted to say.
No, absolutely. I want to add on to what Laura's saying. I apologize. I'm checking my phone because we might have a special guest, everybody. So my phone's clicking.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah,
person coming? I don't know. So, but I was totally, I heard everything. And first I want to say I'm sorry that you had to go through that experience, you know, but I'm also happy that you went through that experience and you actually helped somebody, which is really cool because, you know, a lot of people sometimes don't have the outlet or help or don't want to reach out, and that someone did reach out to you that had a connection with you and trusted you with that. And then you were able to talk them through that and definitely get them going down another path instead of the path they were on is really a big thing. And it's really important that we all have that within us, but you specifically, Laura, have that special gift, very much like Rican said, where you connect with people at that part. Some people say I connect with people at some level of something, something, I guess. But I think that you really have the special gift of being able to do that. And once you really start connecting with it at a certain level, you'll really see what it can do for you and how awesome it'll make your life, and how you'll really
Mhm.
start understanding things like the air and the trees and all of the things around us. You'll be able to connect with that at a much higher level. You know, that's
Yeah.
my 2 cents on that one. But
Yeah, no one is you. That's your power. That's my Ranger Cree, and the new Phantom verse coming, everything I'm building, like when the movie comes out and you guys start seeing all the promo, I'm doing the armors and kind of getting everyone ready. And I know it looks like it's going to be a hard task, a impossible task. There's some naysayers that think that something so big that hasn't been driven right, why would they throw a guy like me the keys? But it's not about that. It's about the fans getting our hearts in the right place and restoring the faith in the franchise. So, KOD is here for that. Not only for that, but also for the people. So, like I said, give us some stuff to talk about on the show. If you guys, we don't mind doing a mental health segment where we sit down and we talk to people who, need support and love from us. So, what we got next on the itinerary, Drew? Didn't we have a list somewhere?
we've got a list,
Let's start chopping through some
a
stuff.
list of lists.
Yeah, go gadget dragon book. You know,
So
let's do
today's
it.
list.
Are you done with your story, Laura? Is there anything else you wanted
Yeah,
to
did you
close
want
out
to
with that
add?
before we jump around? I'm sorry, I forgot that we kind of segued out of that, but that was your point, right? You got him off the ledge. That's what you wanted to share.
Yeah.
You want to close it out
And
with anything?
just that emotion that you feel, I think this
Mhm.
is for everyone. You may be having, because I have them, a brief moment of such anxiety and such emotion, and you think it's going to overtake you. You
Mhm.
think that this is the end. If you just sit and take a breath and realize this doesn't have to be the end,
Mhm.
call somebody and keep calling people. If somebody doesn't answer, call somebody else.
Well,
Keep
right.
trying,
Help
keep
yourself. Yeah.
trying, because
I think the
someone,
writing part is important too, Laura. The poetry. If no one will pick up the phone like Jason had when he called, right? He didn't have anybody pick up the phone, Drew. If no one's picking up, talk to God, talk to
Mhm,
yourself, empty it out, and take the bucket, take the lid off, and just dump it out.
mhm,
Write it. As cheesy as it sounds, sometimes that type of expression might heal something just enough for you to calm down. You know what I mean? And put things really write what you're saying and look at it and read it and try to feel it, feel the emotions, let go of them, feel them, look at them on the paper, give them a new form. As corny as that sounds, you know what I'm saying? I know that because I'm a writer and I do that when I feel so overwhelmed and frustrated, and sometimes just create or go draw. Go do the Bob Ross. Just go grab a canvas and just start. Even if you don't know how to draw, grab a couple good pencils, some good shit, and the next thought in your mind, put it. Why not? Who knows? Or go put on your favorite movie for background noise. Smoke a blunt, calm down. That's the devil trying to get in. I don't want to push religion on anyone, but to me, God is the only peace, right? We're made in his image, and you got to find that piece of yourself that's missing that makes you want to not be here. So who else can you give it to? If the weight is too much for you yourself, right? And let's say 50-50 that maybe some of that is true and there is a creator who loves you unconditionally. Well, let's give it to him because that's what he tells you to do, right? So what if? Let's play Marvel what if. What if that's true? What if you putting it up there and you not letting that weight weigh you down gets you where you need to be? Start there. So that's all I got to say about it. The only reason why I'm here and I survived is because I got on my knees and they cried in the rain, right? Some people just get wet and some people play in the rain. You know
No,
what I mean? So
absolutely.
that's what I gotta say. The spirit is more important. It's always spiritual warfare. I promote it on Real Talk with Rican. KOD is the same thing. Me and Drew talk about it all the time. We're Knights of the Old Code. You know what I mean? The spirit of JDF, how he was with his fans and how Jason carried this franchise and gave so much, but felt like he had so little in return. You know what I mean? To do
Absolutely.
what he did and what happened to him, we're gonna make sure that that energy never dies. So we want you guys to definitely reach out to us and help this grow. We'll see where it goes. JDF be a legend, mental health, all that. It's gonna be a big staple in this show. So let's see what happens. What's next, Drewski?
We got
We
some
got
things on the list. If I could, just so I give my kind of run on what Laura and what you had to say,
yeah.
I
So
was gonna just say something real quick. When I was in 11th, yeah, it's 11th grade in high school. I overdosed when I was really young,
yeah.
and I fell and my face hit the bathtub, and it
Mm,
busted my nose because I just passed out and just fell forward.
right.
And that's why sometimes you'll see me go like this, because one was from a fight, one was from when I broke my nose and I never got it properly fixed, and
Right.
really starting to bug me now. But anyway, um, I the thing about it was I didn't have anybody to reach out to at the time. Nobody that I could really, reach out to. My parents were on their kick and, doing their thing. And, I remember when I woke up because I was out clean, just passed out. And my dad woke me up and I had like blood all over my face and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was just like, "You're on drugs. You're on drugs, aren't you?" My dad was losing his stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you
Wow.
when we get, And so, I went to the hospital, of course, and they checked on me and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And my dad was just like sitting there, standing there like this, the whole time. And the doctor was like, Mr. Guest, can you go out in the hallway? And he was like, yeah, I'll go in the hallway. So the doctor asked specifically to sit with me. So he told me, he said, "Look, I know what you did." It's like, "Yeah, you didn't do a heavy amount of it where you had to pump your stomach, but I know what's going on and what you were
Right.
trying to do." And he's like, "So am I right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So why are you doing this?" I said, "Man, my home life, just how things are going, it's just really awful. I didn't see any way out. It wasn't the best or wisest decision, but I had, gone down that path, unfortunately." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, so you're happy you didn't do it?" I said, "Yeah." Sometimes you don't think about those things exactly. And he said, "Well, listen," he said, "by law, you are my patient. You're not, I'm not your father's doctor, or, your father's not my patient.
Mm-hmm.
So I can kind of judge how this goes by what you want to do, you know?" So he said, "Here's how this works." He was like, "If you promise me that you will not come back in here for something like this ever again," he's like, I'll work with your dad about a situation. Okay? And he said, "But if I catch you in here again," he's like, "I'm letting him know everything. What do you want to do?" I said,
Right.
"Well, you never see me here again." He's like, "Great." He's like, "I'll handle your dad. You're not going to have any problems with that." And he said, "Make sure you make better choices, young man." And I kind of just, went on about it. And, the whole time I was driving back with my dad, he's just, of course he was still lit. But we don't. And my point of telling that story is that, I want you guys to understand that sometimes, like, Rican and Laura was saying, you may not think about it in depth, and, you may not find somebody to talk to. But one thing you do have to do is you do have to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
because it's your life. But something happens, it's your life that's gone, not your neighbor's life. It's not this guy's life. It's not that guy's life or this lady's life. It's yours. So if anything happens, you lose your life, and you really have to think about that. Like, gosh, it being 11th grade in high school or whatever, like, what had I done going into the world and figuring things out and seeing things and experiencing things? Not much at that point, right? Only so far. So I would miss out on all the things that could happen. My situation will and did get better in time, and you do move out of your parents' house. You do go here, go there, go to out of state
Like
to college.
emotion.
Yeah, there's, and then you don't get to really see what that's like for you.
I gotta take these off.
And that's really an important thing, because people feel trapped, like they're going to just be stuck in that place and around that same vibe the rest of their lives. And the reality is, no, you will venture out and get out of that and go on to other things. You'll face many challenges. You'll see new things, but you won't be in that situation anymore. And so, and the main thing is, you really want to understand that that's not a go-to for you. Also, because I knew a lot of people that was their go-to. Like, stuff went wrong, like they're just trying to take themselves out. Unfortunately, I knew people like that. And that's not a good go-to, guys. It's never a healthy go-to. You should want to respect yourself, love yourself, and understand why. Once you figure out that why, that should give you the strength to kind of persevere and push through those challenges. But you first have to learn how to love yourself and realize how important that is. So what? Yeah, you don't have $1 million. So what? You don't look like Brad Pitt, back in 1998 or whatever. You know what? That's okay. We're all made different, unique. We don't have the same gene pool as Brad Pitt, unless you're related to him. So that's not going to happen. That's all I'm saying. It's not going to happen.
I mean, there's an ass for every seat, Drew. You
True.
know what I mean? So it's like, you'll find your person. God designed it that way, there's so many people in this world. There's an ass for every seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just gotta stay within that energy. It's about positivity, manifestation, staying in that right mindset, in that zone where you look in the mirror and you got what you're looking at, and you cool with it. You can't love anybody else before you love yourself. And I'm speaking to myself too, because I just survived a bad breakup on and off, super toxic relationships. That seems to be the norm now. The microwave culture. Everybody wants attention and algorithms instead of real love and loyalty. So that's really what we're up against. So it's glad that I'm glad that I have a couple people that we get together and we know it's all solid and we know it's all spirit and about the soul, and you need people like that in your life to keep you grounded. Can't be just bills and work, and there's so much emptiness. There's nothing to really, no deep end. It's like being stuck in the kiddie pool in the summertime every summer. You're gonna want to go in the ocean and swim out, and you gotta look for sharks and other stuff in the world that may get you, but that's the beauty of it.
Right.
So don't give up, man. Don't give up. That's the best thing I could say. The warrior spirit, the warrior way, that's what we're about. So.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you guys ever need to reach out and say, hey, I'm all ears for that. If whatever, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, or if you're going through something, whatever. Reach out, but make sure you get some professional help as well. Make sure that you're all good. But I'm just saying, if you guys want to reach out and say, hey, I'm more than happy to say hey and definitely talk to you guys. I'm not opposed to that at all.
Not being here should be a last resort.
Yeah.
A last resort. And that's what Laura's story point is. She was able to see someone's soul hurting and answer the ranger call and basically morph on the scene. Hey, you're worth more than this. Get off that damn bus, boy. You know what I'm saying? Had him laughing and made him think about his life again. So that's a real superpower. Not all superheroes wear capes, So, we happy about that. That's what we do. We're just getting started. So, What else we got, Drew? Are we going into the franchise? We got some.
We
Let's
got
chop.
all kinds of stuff. What do we got? We went
Yeah,
through.
let's check the
Okay,
Dragon
so
book. Show them the book, man. Show them the book one more time. They gotta know, like he's even right there. That's it. That's the Ninjetti manuscript. You see that? Yoda's got the manuscript.
So we do have martial art discussion, future of the franchise, Lore's next discussion about the next generation of Rangers. We have the fan casting for the Power Rangers of the future, Amy Jo's daughter, and the kids of the actors that played the Rangers, what their involvement may be. And I think I gave some warrior wisdom, but I mean,
All right, let's vote then. I think we should do martial arts and future of the franchise, and then maybe segue into the kids and some casting. Let's give them some Ranger content. You know what I mean? So I'm in origin mode right now. I'm designing armors like crazy, spirit animals, colors, origin stories, backstories, monsters, bad guys. I'm focusing on the canon right now. So any ideas and any um ways you guys can think that the canon can be improved, the timeline can be improved, holes, plot holes, like all of that. I'm a nerd with all of that stuff. Definitely contact me with your ideas. Double Dragon Comics, Trey King Productions. I've already got people with DMs sending me DMs with ideas. It's great. I love being in my DMs and chopping up with people who give a shit about what I'm doing. So, you know what I mean? I'll go into that. As far as martial arts, I'll start us off with martial arts. Drew's really gonna shine in this realm because it's legitimate. I want to legitimize the respect level for Rangers when it comes to martial arts. I want when they see the Rangers banner, I don't want it to be corny kid kicking around and jumping. I want it, even though the martial arts has never really been half bad in Power Rangers. You know what I mean to me. So, but if we're gonna level it up as an adult playing field, I definitely want to see the caliber of the martial arts and the different type of styles and the intricacies of how it can be put together with people who are actually do this. Maybe talk to some of the stunt people. I heard Francis say that in the Bat in the Sun, it wasn't even JDF in the suit, which was interesting to me. So you watch the White Ranger versus Scorpion, and all that kicking in White Ranger awesomeness is not even JDF. So it was like, wow, okay. So what's really going on here? Is he voice acting or is he really a martial artist? And we know he was, but I don't see why he wouldn't be in the suit if there was stuff he wasn't capable of doing. You know what I mean? So I do want to know what you think about that. Because
oh, I'm sorry, Regan.
no, you can chime right in. Go ahead. You can stop.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So two reasons. Either he could not be there at the time when they were filming.
Right. Okay.
So he could have been caught up in something else. Number two, he could have been recovering from an injury of some sort, which can happen. Number three, they didn't. Sometimes directors don't want their stars to get hurt.
Yeah,
I've seen that. And for what I understood about White Ranger and Scorpion, I thought he did tape those scenes or some of them.
I mean, this was news to me too. I was kind of devastated. I was like, "What?" That because those fight scenes.
He taped it because Green Ranger versus Ryu. I mean, like that's him.
I mean, this is why I'd love to have Francis on here and kind of debunk the talk. I mean, came from her. Shout out to Francis. She would know. She was there. So it's like, I just find that interesting. That's all. And that's really right. Like you would say, the thing about it is like, yo, where does martial arts lay in who's legitimate and like who's legit out here? Who's, that's why bringing Viking involved in what we're doing is kind of the idea.
Right. And you have me, of course,
Yeah, so, and Drew, of course, so
I've been a martial artist since I was 9. So
so the knowledge is there. You know what I mean?
I've ventured around, gosh, how many styles now? Oh, 7,
OG.
8. Yeah, OG Silverback is one of the baddest dudes on the scene, man.
Yeah. Shout out to OG
for that. You would not want to be hit by him. I tell you that.
This is on Drew. I mean, because the martial arts thing is like I'm learning and I'm learning how to put the pieces together. So I have a nephew who's a 3rd-degree Taekwondo black belt who's a perfect age to jump in the series. You know, with that kind of background, you know, you put him on a Ranger set, I feel like he'll do good. So I'm ready to do the George Lucas, Zack Snyder type of thing, and you know, more writing and shooting and ideas. But man, martial arts is important. So what do you think, Laura, about the fight world? You know, Drew's our master, our token martial arts master. You know, is there anything you want to see as far as like the martial arts side of Rangers? The fighting, how would you rate the fighting? And you know, what's your favorite part about that?
So again, I'm only going back to '93, which is
Yeah.
a while
Remember.
ago, but
Hmm.
it was good. I think that if they're gonna do more um, shows, or if you're looking for a show like that, they should at least have some basic training in martial arts. Doesn't have to be, 8th degree JDF black belt,
Hmm.
but it could be the basics, uh, where it looks legit, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and
So you're more saying aesthetically, right? It's got to look right.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
because I think we've seen when it doesn't. Uh,
Right, exactly.
so if you're gonna do martial arts, let's do martial arts.
Do it right.
Let's not be, whimsical about it.
Right.
You know,
Well, what do you think, Drew? What's going to sell the tickets? What's going to make it $1 billion franchise competing with Marvel gearing up, DC about to do their thing with James Gunn? What type of level of martial arts? Who do we need? You know, I know we talked about Scott Atkins, Michael J.
He's
White,
one. He's
OG.
another.
What type
He's
of
another.
ingredients we need to make this thing competable at that level with the other guys, the best of
See,
the best?
guys, here's the trick about martial arts is, there's a martial arts that you use for filming, and then there's a martial arts that you use for actual fighting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
two very different things. And every martial artist has that. I don't care who it is. Everybody that has that, if they've done movies, stunts, there's a way they do it through that. And then if they were actually in an altercation, it would be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that worked. And the thing about it is this, like when you do something like Power Rangers, it has to be shown a certain way. So what I'm saying is there has to be um, a lot of flash to it, to make people go ooh and ah.
That
You know,
camera karate, right? You know what I mean?
yeah, you have to do stunt camera karate
Mm-hmm.
where things are really ooh and ah, because that's what brings people in. When you just see somebody do a kick, yeah, there's a kick. But if you have somebody, you ever see the movie Only the Strong
Mm-mm.
with Mark Dacascos? Okay, he has this kick that he uses called the butterfly kick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, let me see. Bear with me for a second,
Cool.
guys.
That's the guy from Double Dragons.
Yes,
Yeah, and John
that's
Wick.
him.
He's the sushi guy. John Wick.
He is a third generation martial artist. His mom,
Mm-hmm.
his dad, and then him. And I believe maybe even his grandfather. Like it goes back with generation. He's very, very good. So let me
I'd
get.
love to get him in a Double Dragon remake.
He might not be opposed to that.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So we'll take a young Ken Masters right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect for that. So the butterfly kick starts out like this, and you move your leg like this. And as you start to spin like this, all of a sudden you turn your leg and your body goes like this.
Mm-hmm.
And drop out one leg like this, and then it hits the person as you're spinning.
Yeah.
Okay. So I use that because I remember the first time I had seen that wasn't Only the Strong. That was back in 93, 94.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that and I was like, whoa, what is that? So that's kind of what you have to have for Power Rangers or any martial arts, anything that sticks out. You have to have something that really shows you something, that
Mm-hmm.
really sets it apart from everything else. When Jean-Claude Van Damme had come out as an example, he was known for what? Anybody remember?
Kicks. When I think of Van Damme,
He
it's
was kicks, but he
the
was known
kick
for
guy.
very high extended kicks and splits, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
splits, the kicks. He was known for his helicopter kicks, where basically his legs are split apart and he would
Mm-hmm.
do a kick up in the air, which Viking does a lot and
Mm-hmm.
can do. Um, so Van Dam was kind of the guy that did that. Nobody else was really doing it like that at the time. I was there when that all happened, when Van Dam's career had taken off, and
So he's like
so
the first signature move, basically,
that was the one.
right? Because
Was that?
Seagal was more Hapkido and more
He
throws
was
and
Aikido. Yeah, he was Aikido. He was
right, like
Japanese
wrist
Aikido.
throws and grapples and taking
Mhm.
disarming. He
Body
was more focused
manipulation
like
and
that.
body. It
Yeah.
basically uses strength against your opponent on them.
Mhm.
You manipulate the strength. It is a lot of throws and arm breaks and things of that. I studied Aikido for
It's
time.
dope. It's dope.
It's interesting. You really have to understand the body mechanics and different things with it. I always tell people, like, you have to incorporate things with it because it only goes so far.
Right.
Ketos, in my opinion, it was always limited to certain things, and other
Yeah.
things is not. And so you have to incorporate other things with
It's
it.
more of a sauce than a whole meal, you know?
Yeah, it's only a partial thing.
I
You know,
got you.
so everybody has to remember a lot of Aikido was really established off of like katana sword play. So it was a
Hmm.
lot of it was like disarming katanas and things like that. So, bringing that to today, there's nobody unless you're in Highlander, run down the street, with katanas coming at you
Right.
like they were in feudal Japan. So
Well,
that's kind of the thing about it.
I
So
got a question. I got a good
yeah,
question. And I know Laura's
sure.
got to do a little homework about the seasons, right? Because you haven't watched too many other seasons other than MMPR, right?
I've seen CEO and I've seen um, Turbo, kind of
Okay.
not
Well, I
complete.
want to revisit this conversation after you watch some more seasons, right? But which season, and the fans in the comments and the emails, I want to know which season do you guys think has the best martial arts? Hands down.
Mm,
Best choreography, the best stunt work. Now, I'm not talking about story. I'm not talking about, I'm talking straight martial arts, mastery, skill. I know Jungle Fury gets a lot of praise for its martial arts prowess. I personally liked SPD a lot. I thought that was a fun season. I enjoyed every single Ranger in that season to a certain extent. I thought SPD was a great idea. I love the Shadow Ranger, the whole Star Trek kind of Star Wars vibe in the future. I love In Space. I like, but I like how SPD is more of a futuristic version of In Space. So I'm starting to get into RPM for the car guys and the car people who like car stuff. I noticed they like RPM. And the head Black Ranger, I forget his name. It's the white guy that does the black and gold RPM Ranger. He's kind of popular. So there's a lot. There's a lot we can get into. So this whole season, I want to kind of, because MMPR is getting milked for me. I want to sneak into the franchise, and I think they just keep doing MMPR, regurgitating MMPR. I mean, even the comic series coming out is called Prime, and it's a whole nother story, set of armor, but it starts with MMPR. It's like, man, I got an In Space comic. I got my first Wes from In Space, not Wes, Andros. I got my first Andros cover today. So it's like, man, give us some other guys, give us some other stuff. So what's next as far as the franchise, because it's supposedly dead, Drew. So talk about what the guys were talking about on Henry's a little bit with the auction, where we're
right.
at. You too, Laura, chime in after Drew. What's going
Um,
on with Rangers right now?
they are oxygen. They are auctioning off a lot of their. It looks like, if not all, most of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did say at Comic Con, the Comic Con brand did have Playmates on it, so it
Mm-hmm.
looks like that they are doing something with the toys. I don't have the whole 411 on exactly what's going on with
Right.
the
At what
toys.
level?
Right, but that's definitely in question. Because I'm gonna tell it to you like this: if you don't make the Lightning Collection style or better, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You got to have the helmets that are removable with the human heads and the
Good
weapons
paint
right,
jobs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
posability. The materials need to be right and everything. If it's not to that level, it's not going to go. That's why I was hoping McFarlane Toys would get a hold of Power Rangers, because if they got a hold of it, we'd get some really good stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, I was at Playmates. Like I said, I think I said it on Henry's show, or I might have said it on one of our episodes. Playmates was known for making the original Ninja Turtles, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
only hit, like big hit, that I remember them ever having. I haven't heard any talk of them doing anything big since. Bless you, and
Bless
I
you.
mean 1987 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Well,
Like, and the
good
posability
luck.
was not good.
I'm rooting for them, but it doesn't look good in the toy aspect, because the brand
No,
is kind of finding its footing right now.
gosh, what
The
have they
comics
done
too.
that's been action figure wise? Like in the past 5 years, what have they done action figure wise that's to a high level that we all know? I can't think of one thing Playmates has done in the past 5 years.
You know
Uh
what they should do, Drew? Honestly, the Optimus they made that was $800 that
huh.
transformed on its own. They should do the Zords in a small scale, like a $250 digital statue like that of the Zords transforming the same way they do the Optimus. Make an affordable Zord transformation. Give us the Rangers, like you said, posable, good paint, good quality, round Lightning Collection. Because Lightning Collection wasn't great either. You know what I mean? It was okay, but the toys. That's why I think my story will work because there's multiple morphin modes. You got a mech mode, ninjetti mode. You got regular morph mode. That's 4 different toys you can sell for one Ranger.
Mhm.
That's why in the Spider-Man movies they change his suit how many times in the damn movie, so that way they could keep selling. You know what I mean? Selling the action figures. You notice that he'll
Right.
have his suit on for 5 minutes in the movie, and there's a toy on the shelf with that suit variation. Same with the comics, the variant game. There'll be 27. I think that MMPR the Return had 27 variants, bro. On each one through five, had 27 variants of the same
Mhm.
book. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right. And we also have to remember Super 7, it's more for older audiences, but Super 7 has their toy line of Power Rangers.
mhm,
So Super 7 has their own run, so we also have that. They're going to cost more because they're a smaller company.
right.
you
Well,
know
we
um,
got the video game too. So how can it be dead when there's a video game? There's still a toy deal, right? There's no show per se, but even if it is dead, it's gonna bleed out for a while to the point where it may even come back and resuscitate and resurrect.
well, everything else looks pretty similar, or something's going on, except for the action figures. That's the one. Because
Mm,
like Boom, their whole thing, it's pretty much going to be the same art style. They're going to be going in a similar direction. But
mm.
I don't, Playmates, unless they've really been taking some steroids and really been building themselves up. I mean, I just don't see what I know of Playmates.
Them
I
carrying
really don't see
toy
them.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought, I didn't even know they were still around. I thought they were done.
yeah.
You
Now
know?
NECA is a different story.
Oh yeah, NECA's a whole different story.
NECA's a whole different story. NECA should have picked that up. That would have been crazy money.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Laura? You're a collector. You collect some dolls, right? I mean, what do you think? What kind of toys do you want to see? I want to see the weapons. I want to see top tier weapon replicas. I'm the guy that buys every single style of lightsaber. The Jedi's are my favorite part of the lore in Star Wars, so I want the weapons. I want the weapons. I want the helmets, and then the action figures. What do you want as a toy,
NECA
Laura?
toys, NECA toys,
Yeah,
NECA toys.
with
Uh,
Rangers, what's the Ranger toy for you? You know?
I want I want a morpher. Let's
Yeah,
say
nice.
um
That a girl. Me too. I need one too.
I don't have I don't have one, and so I think they need to make more.
The toy.
Love RoboCop. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. They're expensive too. They're still $200-300, even for the older ones on eBay.
yep.
Joke.
So that's my wish is I want a morpher, and specifically
Hmm.
I would like a green or white Ranger morpher.
There you go. Nice. They
Okay.
make that one as a set with both coins.
Yeah, you get both. You
That's
know, because
dope.
I have the morpher, so you get both. Because it's the same
Dope.
morpher, you just switch out the coin. Unless you want like the movie, the white
Oh,
one like that, then it would be different.
So let's I know next it's fan casting, right? Is there any people you think that would make great Rangers? And if they do decide to reboot or maybe in the Ninjetti, I know I got some people I think for the movie would be great.
You see, you
You
get
know,
that, Laura.
yeah, I love the White Ranger coin.
You get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
it
See, I
is.
would love one, but they're so expensive. I
Yeah,
can't. Wow. Yeah,
I would bring back the 2017 girls. I love Becky G.
I
I
would
like
love one of
Naomi.
those, but you know.
That's the back of it.
Dope.
So that's what they should make more of is the morphers, and
Yeah.
make them like with good quality, and make them affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There you
this is
go.
metal. So like the Lightning collections were plastic, were all plastic. They had like really good smart chips that you could do all kinds of things with them. Because Luke
Mm-hmm.
has, I think he has two. Um, but this one is the Legacy, the first ones they did when they
Mm-hmm.
came back, and
Fire.
these are
And
metal.
it's
Yeah, this is metal, and yeah, it's signed. The coins are heavy, heavy metal like this. They're
mm-hmm.
heavy, so they're the real deal metal, you know. So it's like, yeah, you could definitely do that.
Those will sell all day. Those are like printing money. And then they just did the Master Morpher.
Yeah, yeah, they
You know,
did.
the Master Morpher is like $500, I think, still, or at least three,
Jeez.
350.
You know, and then if you get the Lightning collection, and then you could get the Legacy. The
That
Legacy
one I had.
is all metal. It's
Oh,
mixed metal, but it only just plays the tune, the two tunes. But this one does all kinds of stuff. So that's where the Lightning collection came up. Like when they did the weapons, they're more plastic, but they made them like really, really good. They added in stuff like I've never seen before, like this. Let me see. Is it on?
I had the first Legacy, yeah. Not the light up.
So
wow.
it does the charge up, and you could charge it down, and then you can plays the Power Ranger theme. You could do that. So and you can switch
So,
it. So it does. It's pretty cool.
so weapons, morphers, helmets, top tier. That's top tier toys.
So you
There's
could.
no excuse. Give us the fans more helmets, more weapons,
Oh
more
yeah,
morphers.
you could
Give
do.
us
And they
the
also did
confetti
the Red
stuff.
Ranger sword too.
Yeah.
Full
Nah,
size, and it lit up and made noise and did the same thing like Dragon Dagger does, but it's just in the Red Ranger form of his sword.
yeah.
What he
I
would have.
like the power sword too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Angel actually has that. It's really
where are
nice.
we at with the kids? Where we at with
The
the next
kids.
generation, right? We got JJ, Amy Joe. Are we talking about their real children or in the comics, in the canon,
Let's
in the
look at
TV
both,
show?
but just kids in general, I would say maybe an animation show geared towards them. They could have an adult animation. That might be the future. Adult animation.
I think JJ and Amy Joe's daughter is the perfect way in, like a Stone Canyon style, Cobra Kai, live action. You throw Amy Joe's real daughter in there if she wants to act, or have her casted. Either way, and then you do the Tommy Kim dynamic.
Right.
Oh, and they got JJ Oliver. You can do it however you need to. So they both have kids in the canon that can make work with other series. So we know the kids can work. You know,
Absolutely.
what would you guys want to see from that? I definitely want to see them honor the original, but also do some new stuff.
Yeah, I think if they did animation, they could do original stuff, new stuff. They could go in many different directions. And like I said, you could separate it like an older audience show and then a kids show. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they've done that before where you've got kind of like the kid version of Batman for kids, and you got
Mm-hmm.
a more older audience animation of Batman for kids. I mean, for older audiences. So you could do something like that, and that way you could have Twee, you could have Jason, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you could do things like that, and I think that that would be something really special. And then if kids really get into it, they could go watch the original live action episodes, to
Yeah, it
see
helps everyone.
and
Mm-hmm.
kind of compare them and what they do and don't like, or if they like both, whatever. I think really I would put 110% in animation. I think is the way to go. And the
Yeah.
first guy to say that was Christopher Kamen Lee, that played Andros,
Mm-hmm.
in Space. He said that a long time ago. He said, animation, we don't age. We can, anybody that's passed, we can fit their characters in. We can do that. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with him 100%. I think animation is the way to go.
Yeah. Stop with this. It's dead. Who's paying for the reboot? And do it anime style, Animatrix, Halo Legends. They just did the new Ultraman with Netflix. They got how many
Yeah,
more Transformers animated and Godzilla animated we're gonna get before we get damn Rangers, bro? You know what I mean? Like what? It's an
absolutely.
excuse at this point. So, what do you think, Laura? Where you at with the show and the franchise? What's got to be done right now to save it from dying? What do you need? What does Lady Laura need in her Power Rangers right now, other than JDF, excessive JDF? We know that.
Um, for people to care about it, it seems that a lot of people are a lot of folks who are either involved with it or have been involved in it are kind of they don't care about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some people may, I'm not saying everybody doesn't, but it just seems that there's a lack of interest anymore with it. They kind of just want to move on
Right.
from it, and I guess we or somebody needs to give them a reason to want to keep it.
Do
You
you
know,
believe that'll happen? Do you think there's out there? Do you think there's another George Lucas out there, or a big director, a big person?
maybe,
Not just me, but anyone that's willing to,
maybe,
I do too.
maybe. You just
I'm
have to
not ready to shut that
find,
door.
the right person,
Hmm.
and it has to mean something to someone. You know, um,
They gotta love it like I do. I definitely love it. There's gotta be passion in it.
It's true.
So
and much as I disagree with a lot of the way Saban did things, as far as financially, and we can go into that, but somehow he made it work. You know, he made it work, and it was very successful.
mm,
So we may not agree with his business tactics,
True.
but um, there was a way he made it work. So that
mm,
in that aspect, we could look at the way he made it successful and see if there's any ideas that could
yeah.
be derived
Maybe
from.
he'll save us. Saban save us. We should start a hashtag.
Yeah, no, he's like in his 70s now. I don't think he wants it.
Enjoying his money. He don't give a damn about Power Rangers anymore. He made
Um,
his money off of us.
I don't think he wants it, but somebody could, and somebody could look at the way that Saban did it, and
Saban's rolling. So I mean,
so
It's a shame. The guy from Netflix died. He was really passionate about it. The one that was really gonna take over, he died before he got a chance to. So much weird things with the Power Rangers, like a curse. So it's like, is the brand destined or doomed? Like, I want to know now. So
And maybe, and people may think like, oh, it's been 30 years now. So maybe they're like, let it go. You know, unfortunately, it's not what we want
never,
to see. But
never. I can't
but
let it go.
there, but you know, people may be thinking, all right, are we just not? Is it not worth
Yeah.
saving?
Are we just bitching and complaining now,
I'm
about
gonna say beating a dead horse, but I don't know if that's PC.
yeah. But you're
So
right. It is. Is it beating a dead horse? That's a good way to put it. Is the brand
yeah,
is that where we're at? That's a discussion, hit us in the comments, the emails, but that's what we want to talk about. Um what else we got on the list, bro? I mean, Drew, that's where we're at with the brand. Is it really dead? Is it breathing? Is it what's going on? What do we do next? You
Fan
know,
casting for um Mighty Morphin. Like, who would you put in the part for
I
fan?
definitely think the kid from Cobra Kai that everyone's been talking about would be a good Tommy, but it depends on his fight skills. I think it's important. There's this girl, is it Cunningham? What the hell is her name? She's a Taekwondo master. And she does these TikToks with a bow staff. I forget her name.
Mm-hmm.
Randella Cunningham or something like that. She would be perfect for a ranger. I gotta get her name. But do you guys have anybody off the top of your heads that you study, Drew, martial arts wise? Who are you thinking?
As far as the young game goes, because they're going to need to be a certain age, that's kind of hard for me to say because I don't really see a lot of the young people unless they're in UFC. I don't really see a lot of young people or Cobra Kai or UFC or some that may pop up. I don't see a lot of young martial artists really out there like it used to be.
Oh, here's her name, Drew. Raina Vallandigham. Raina Vallandigham. I know it's hard to see here.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. Her name is look it up, guys. Raina Vallandigham. Awesome videos. Awesome martial artist. I think she's in her 20s, maybe 30s. She looks young. But that
Yeah.
type of level of caliber and commitment in the fighter, this is
Mhm.
her right here. She's pretty she's no joke, bro. That's a bow staff in her hand. You know what I mean?
I see her.
She's the real deal. And she's got a couple crazy, like, that's a ranger to me. You see what I mean? And she's adorable, she's gorgeous, she's the right age. It's not that hard. Shout to Reina. I mean, if you can do that with a bow staff, I would imagine you're pretty good on set. So that's what I'm.
Well, that's two things.
She does it with the hands too.
I've seen that. I've seen people
Look at
who
the
are very
footwork,
good.
bro.
Come on, I'm watching her.
You see what I'm
Um,
saying? Like,
I've seen people come on sets and do things and not translate it correctly.
yeah,
I've seen
she's not fun.
people.
Graham, she's the real deal.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. I've seen people that have been phenomenal and come to the set and been phenomenal. I've seen people that have been phenomenal and weren't so phenomenal on set as well. I've seen both of those things happen. Um, and it's one of those things where you have to be able to translate your martial arts into what's needed on screen in such a way, and not everybody can do that. I've seen it. It's like not everybody can pull that stuff off.
This is true.
It's a hard thing to do, and then you got guys that are a little heavy handed, a little leg heavy
Right.
as well.
Right, check this out. Can I show you this guy real quick? Because you're cooking about the martial arts, and we were talking about camera karate. right? This is Michael Kwanch.
Okay.
See what I mean? So these are the guys I'm gonna start promoting, and I maybe want to talk to, get on the show. This is like that movie magic martial arts where
I'm
they're adding
looking.
sound effects and stuff like that. And I think he's a French Canadian choreographer, artist. So I'm gonna start promoting these guys. But as far as fan casting, there's a lot of people that I want to really get with Drew and be like, this is a kind of lane we got to create and see if we can get enough interest in Power Rangers and people like that of that caliber who do this for a living and do this type of, to focus on Power Rangers. I just wanted to leave you with those two people. And I'm going to promote them because I think they're amazing. I'd love to get them for the movie, people like that. So, where you at with as far as like anyone else and Hollywood,
I
they
don't
almost
have
got to be a real
much
fighter,
as
to
far
have
as
the
young people go, because I just don't see the dedication to martial arts. Like I see a lot of people that want to do a lot of MMA stuff, but I don't see a lot of people that were dedicated, disciplined martial artists that are really out there putting stuff out, And if they are, then they're kind of hidden. But I'm comparing it to back in the day, like in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, you saw like a lot of young people when Dolph Lundgren was young, and he was still Kyokushin world champion, when that was going on. And you had Ernie Reyes Sr. and Jr., doing what they did, their stunt teams to the movies they did. If you don't know Ernie Reyes Jr., he was in Ninja Turtles 2 as Kino the Pizza Boy. Or if you saw Surf Ninjas, he was the main character in Surf Ninjas. He was also the double for Donatello in the first Ninja Turtles as well. He did all the martial arts. So that's Ernie Reyes. Or Last Dragon. He was in that too. So you had all these young up-and-coming male and female martial artists. You had Cynthia Rothrock, who was the best out of the female martial artists. I mean, she was incredible. To this day, she's in Last Kumite with Viking, actually. She's in it. Nice. And she was the real deal. She fought men in competitions, in kung fu competitions back in the day.
Yeah.
And took first place championships.
That's what I mean. I think it's really going to come down to give me a great CGI team, give me a great animation team, and give me a great costume designer, right? And a fight choreography team.
Right. Oh, and Kathy Long. I don't want to leave her out. Forgive me, Master Long. You were incredible on the performance circuit, and still are. So she was. You had people like that back then that were always looking. For every Chuck Norris, you had Jean-Claude Van Damme, you had Dolph Lundgren, you had one of my original masters that I only got to spend a little time with, but The Perfect Weapon, Master Jeff Speakman, who did The Perfect Weapon with Paramount Pictures. You had Billy Blanks. You had Kurt McKinney. You had all these guys.
I'm down for Rangers to find homegrown stars, like homegrown. Like I said, there's so many people. Like we said about the Robert Downey cast. Like, why are we recycling and stories and it's like, go find the people who can fill these parts properly. Take the time, search, and we have the internet to connect us. Have people audition, send in tapes. All you got to do is put hours aside a day and listen to videos and watch videos of people sending emails. It's so simple. Don't tell me casting is hard. Start the pipeline, start the search. Let's find these martial artists. I just gave you guys
you can find them.
You know what I mean?
You can find them, Rican. You could definitely find them.
Casting, like they have to be. That should be a new criteria for a Ranger. You have to be somewhat of a martial artist. You have to be. There has to be a bar set. You know what I mean? To be able to do, partially some stunts. It's like Laura said. They got to care about the brand again. If they care about the brand again, they'll do the right things.
Because all they do is put out a cattle. They put out a cattle casting, which is like what I did when I, auditioned for Power Rangers as a kid. They did a cattle. They did a cattle call, which is just basically like, we're looking for this, and then a bunch of people show up. Like there were like it looked like a million people in that place. Like
that's
it was
crazy.
going down the street and wrapping around. There were kids for days, parents like standing there like, we're gonna get paid today, like they're, that's what it was, My dad was like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, okay. And we waited for I think it was about 3 to 4 hours to just get in. It might have been longer than that just to get in to do the audition.
Well, that's my little ode to you, buddy. I'm calling this the Phantom verse because you said the name of the script was Phantoms. So all this Jetty stuff, everything going on with the movie is gonna be, Rise of the Phantom verse. The Ninjetti shall rise. It's all Mighty Morphin Ancient Rangers. It's all new storyline, new reboots. We're trying to bring them back home, back to formula. I'm starting with real martial arts.
Original name when they were casting for Mighty Morphin was Phantom. So there you go.
So we're gonna try that, see how that goes, and that's where I'm at with the franchise. I don't think it'll ever die, and I'm gonna be Mr. Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, trying to always put something together that feels like, looks like, smells like Rangers because I love them so much. You know what I mean? Even if I gotta go that route, I'll name it something else. And if they don't give me the keys, I'll hotwire the car and I'll give it a paint job, call it something else. So that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So Rise of the Ninjetti, you already know. And Drew Danger's action figures. You still doing the action figure thing, right?
I don't do it as much because the MS, it's my hands shake a lot. There's a lot of problems, so like I can't, like I'll do things sometimes, but like I don't do it as much because it's so rough on my body. But I in my day I did a lot of stuff, but it's kind of up and down. It's like with the custom shoes, my hands just aren't what they were. The way I work is not the same when I was
we
on.
got a lot of content coming for you guys. So, what else we got on the list? Is there anything else we need to cover before we get out of here, or what? We're about an hour.
Waiting for a special guest. Apparently, they just got home.
Like so minutes she's gonna come close it out. Okay, so we got.
So we'll see if she comes. Pinky, wink, wink. If you come,
why don't you guys take over? Let's cover the last of it before she shows up.
All right, let's see what else we got on the list. Video games. That sounds like something Rican would definitely know a lot about.
I'm excited. There's only the Reader's Rewind coming. I think we got a skin for another video game, but it's very low key. There's only one really right now, and I think Rangers, Battle for the Grid was okay. Does it have the staying power of like a Marvel vs. Capcom? Not really. I don't think so, but it was a fun game, So as far as like Ranger video games, I don't think they've tapped into the potential of, doing a Marvel vs. Capcom style game. They could definitely do a Battle of the Grid update and it could smash, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai and that type of stuff. So I always see potential in the games. Just like the movie.
May I interrupt just for a moment? Would you excuse me just for a moment while you guys talk about the video games? I'll be right back.
Sure, do your thing. I think we're waiting on a guest too. So is she definitely coming, or it's up in the air,
huh? Well, boys and girls out there in TV land, we're supposed to have a guest. She is probably setting some things up, and then I guess she's gonna hop on. So we're gonna give a little bit more time and see if she comes. Hopefully she'll be here. We're really excited to have her. So we'll see what's going on, guys. But Rican, you were talking about the video games. Now they really need to take the games to an SNK versus Capcom, or stuff like that. Street Fighter versus X-Men. Really, put something out like that. I think would be awesome, and it would look probably the best for Power Rangers as well.
Or a Turtle versus Ranger mashup. Remember they had that Turtle?
Yeah.
What was that Turtle game for Sega? Remember it was like a Battle Arena one, but it was like Turtles. And it was like a Mutant Mayhem or something, or Mutant Throwdown. Remember? And it was like almost like a Streets of Rage 1-on-1, But I think a Ranger one like that would be great.
If they had the Turtles and Power Rangers put together, they could do a lot of things with that. Gosh, who else? They could put
The
Power
Shredder Rita
Rangers.
thing would work.
What's that?
The Shredder Rita thing would work, I think. You know
You
what I
could
mean?
do Power Rangers versus Marvel or DC. Since Mortal Kombat made that move, I mean, you could definitely do something with that. You could do Street Fighter versus Power Rangers, since they already put the action figures together, and they did that. So I mean, there's a lot of things on the table that they could definitely do. And while I'm on it, the other thing, Rican, is we've talked about VR troopers.
Oh
you know
yeah.
so
Of
much you
course.
could do with VR troopers to really bring out a whole new thing, and then put the Power Rangers and the VR troopers together. Finally, you could tell that story, which would be really cool in a comic book or an animation, whatever. You could put those guys together finally, like we always wanted to see, as well as Masked Rider. You know, I'm not a big Beetleborgs fan, but I know people kind of like them, or did kind of like them.
I would almost do a universe with all three of them.
Yeah, you
Like
could kind of just do
crossover
this
with all of
Saban or whatever you want to call it, the the Zentai Metal Hero combination, show or comic book, and give it a cool name, and kind of put all those guys together and tell a story, which would be really cool. So I mean,
them.
sky's the limit with that one. You could do a lot of things, but as well as I do, Power Rangers, they move very slow to get things together.
Mm-hmm.
And they always wait for the wrong times to do a lot of stuff too. So, it's like in space when you see the Ninja Turtles, it's like the Ninja Turtles nobody likes though. Like that terrible show. It's like that's not the Ninja Turtles like we want to see. That's like Bond's weird Ninja Turtle take. That's what we
Yeah,
got. So
exactly.
it's like that's what I'm
Those
saying.
mashups didn't really work like that.
No, I saw those suits in person years ago in Hollywood. They had them,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember seeing them, and I was like, "Oh, it's those suits."
I think they should try to redo the Turtles movie from '89 again, recreating
Oh,
that Henson technology nowadays, because it's
they've been
much more
talking
advanced.
about doing that, at least bringing those live action turtles back for a while. It's what everyone wants, but they don't seem to give us that. But we've been asking for nothing
Yeah.
but that since then. A
Mm-hmm.
really good, turtles with live action, suits and everything, and putting the martial arts back in it with stunt coordinators in the suits and everything. That's what we've been asking for. But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I even heard like it's actually been proven that like for the Turtles, the first movie, to do a nice anniversary edition of the first movie, and
Yeah.
like the studio that owns it like doesn't see any profit, so they're not moving on it. And I was like, are you crazy? Like
Yeah.
everybody would buy that, and they
They
don't
don't.
move on it. So other countries, because I had mine imported, um, of a somewhat of a special edition on a Blu-ray cut of the first Turtles movie, but I had to get it from somebody else, in another country, because in the States they won't really do it.
Right.
All they did was take the DVD transfer, which came from the VHS transfer, and put it on a Blu-ray format somewhat. They didn't really
Mm-hmm.
clean it up, and then they just, gave it to you. That was it. And they put it like in a pizza box set with the 4 movies all together,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it. And that's all you got. So as popular as the Turtles are, and they get a lot of love, they don't get a lot of love in everything. So it's really kind of strange with that too. So I think if the Power Rangers and Turtles together is something they could really take and really do some amazing things. Power Rangers and Street Fighter, of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
is
Especially
something.
with the Ryu Ranger now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Power
saying? Like the
Rangers
Ryu
and
Ranger is popping.
SNK, and that whole universe, SNK and Capcom together. So you can have Terry Bogart and Andy Bogart and Joe Higashi and the guys from Fatal Fury together, and You know, you could do a lot of stuff. You know, Mega Man. You know,
That's what I mean, like an ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, but put all of that. Put the VR Troopers in there as unlockables, Beetleborgs, Kanan Rider, all that. Mass Rider,
yeah.
I mean, all that stuff. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, and as a bonus, you could even put like, gosh, what am I? Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could throw him.
Godzilla, yeah, Godzilla versus the Dragon Zord. Give us that shit, you know?
You could do a lot of stuff. Like people would come out for it for sure. But again, they move slowly on the brand. It's like when Disney got Power Rangers. I didn't really remember seeing any merchandise really. Like I know they had some of it, but you know what I mean? They weren't really kicking it up. You know, it's just kind of like,
Right.
oh, okay, here you go.
Right.
There you go, right here, guys. Like that was it. You know, and they weren't really trying to promote it heavily. You know,
Yeah.
and in a lot of ways. Hey, Laura. So they weren't really promoting it, you know, in a lot of ways, and that was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, and Disney thought that they could take it and do it, right? And they found out, well, they didn't exactly have the same formula that worked that made them, you know, look at the same way as Saban kind of did it. So they ended up selling it back to Saban because they couldn't get it off the ground, and then he took it and made more money with it, you know. So it's like
crazy.
He can be, he can make it work. He can take it, and he knows how to do it, and he's not hard pressed for anything because remember, guys, he did most of the cartoon shows in the 70s and 80s and 90s. He did like their music themes.
And man, Saban's got so much money, man. Hit me up, bro. Let's do it.
Because you know he made the Inspector Gadget theme, right? Him and Shooky Levy, they made the Inspector Gadget theme, so they own that. Yeah. So they couldn't even make when they did the Inspector Gadget box set with all the episodes. They couldn't even use the music unless they paid the price Saban wanted, and he agreed to it. Yeah, so it was like that.
Right.
So there's been a lot of things like that. So the thing about it is he and Shooky Levy are pretty set up. They don't have a lot to really worry about, you know, and then, you know, there's that, Shooky has to worry about that Sarah Brown story if that ever made public eye, about Sarah Brown from VR Troopers, you know, Caitlin Starr.
Would you say that Rangers needs a Kevin Feige?
Yeah, I would say they would need somebody to really kind of come in and take it and kind of do things with it. Yeah, I would say they would. Can't be Hans Saban, though. He'd be the worst guy for it. He'd be trying to spend $5 on the budget and pocket the rest of the money himself. So we need somebody.
I'll do it.
We need someone, that really is going to.
Like, I'm always going to be clocking who's doing it because, you know, there's a lot of passionate fans with this franchise, man. I want to see it happen. So, did we cover everything on the list? If she comes through, we'll give her the quick outline. But if not, we should definitely close it out. So, how long do you want to give her? If not, we'll schedule her for the next show. I think this was good. You know, this one's kind of the home team. We had to make do without Angel, but we're going to have episodes coming, you know, hopefully weekly. We're going to try to give you guys a season. So
let me see. What words of wisdom does Rican Ranger have?
Words of wisdom. As far as for today,
any words of wisdom that you want to give?
Yeah, I'm going to say passion. Passion is my word of wisdom today. Don't lose. If you don't have any, find some. And if you have some, don't lose it. You know what I mean? Because I think that when we talked about mental health and, you know, anxiety, self-deletion, all those kind of mundane things that no one really wants to talk about, or the cliche, to me, the main ingredient is lack of passion in what you're doing, like a lack of connection, purpose. Like JDF used to say, right? It was passion and purpose and then profit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's so true. Like, I want to push that today to remember the big dog. Like, it's so true. Passion is definitely, I was telling my niece that today, you know, it's so important. Passion gives you discipline. I feel like they go hand in hand, you know. Without passion, it's hard for you to stay disciplined in whatever it is you got to do. In order to be anything and be anyone, you got to be disciplined. So find some passion in what you're doing, and if you got some, don't lose it. That would be my words of wisdom for today. From your boy Rican, and of course, Rise of the Ninjetti always. And we need soldiers, man. Shout out to OG. Anybody OG can bring to the table. All the real martial artists, calling all martial artists, calling all animators, comic book artists. I'm making a team. Shout out to Katie Williams. She's my artist. I got a comic book verse coming. I got some variants on the way. I'm gonna start with the comic book. Then when I go to the comic book, I'm gonna go to the animation. So it's gonna happen in steps. So the Phantom Verse is coming. That's my passion project. I hope you guys mess with it. I hope you can get behind it. There's a spot fund. I'm shooting from the hip, but my heart is in it. So let's see what happens. Shout to you guys, KOD with the movement. Shout to Henry, Resilient Rangers, and then Real Talk with Rican, Renee, Rumble, Roku. We out here, man. Me and Drew Changer, Lady Laura. That's it. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. We appreciate you guys. More to come. Music's on the way. So, Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's true. Laura, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody you'd like to share?
Don't give up. Things will be hard. Things will suck. But it's important not to give up. Life is hard, and but life can be beautiful. So don't give up, because you're worth it.
Yeah, there you go.
And I guess I got to give some words of wisdom too.
Yeah, choose your energy.
Since we've been on the sad side, I feel I must turn it up and say something that Rican heard the other day, which was, I think you know what I'm going to say. When I used to, this is when I used to go out at night. My mom thought I was either going out on a date or whatever. I might have been, but I might have just been, I don't know, playing with my band or whatever back then. And my mom used to go, okay, what are you looking for? Werewolves, vampires, or ladies of the evening? Which one are you trying to see? And I feel like none of them. She's like, So always remember that, guys, when you go out. Know exactly where you're going and make sure you surround yourself with the right things.
Stay tapped in.
Was trying to point me in a different direction, at the time. So, yeah, guys. I don't know. We were trying to wait for a special guest. I don't know where she's at. I thought I did for a second, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Shout to April. We love you. We'll get her.
So, but we're gonna, close it out. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Knights of the Dragon. We appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, want to ask us anything, want to add on to anything that we do,
comment section.
Comment section is there. So please let us know, guys. And other than that, may the power protect you. Have a safe weekend and be safe out there, guys. All right.
Already know.
Take care.